We all know what school is like. We went every day. But these schools are different. They're never boring and never ordinary. Here, children have fun. Here, children play important roles. Here, children make dreams come true. Here, children push their boundaries. And here, children surpass their own expectations. Planet School shows us what it's like to go to a very special kind of school. In Bangladesh, Kawser doesn't go to school. The school comes to him. Learning in a floating classroom. And then Stella's school in Denmark also floats, at least in the students' imagination. In a role play, their entire school becomes the Titanic.
There's no reason to panic. No reason to panic. Our ship has hit an iceberg.
Can Stella save her fellow students from drowning? Patna district in northwestern Bangladesh, not far from the equator. For many villagers here, the day starts at sunup. Kawser Hossein is one of them. He is in the 3rd grade. And his school is very special. Kawser doesn't have to walk far to school. His school picks him up in his village. But first, he has breakfast, of course.
What are you making?
Bread for breakfast. Get ready.
Kawser and his family live in the countryside, like 2/3 of people in Bangladesh. The huts are simple. They get water from a well, and there is no electricity. Kawser shares the small house with his parents and his 2 sisters. 90% of the population in Bangladesh is Muslim. So are Kawser and his family. They observe a strict division of labor. Women are in charge of cooking in the household. Men have to earn money. Kawser's father is often gone for weeks at a time. He works in the closest city, for here in the countryside, there are almost no jobs to be had. Kawser's older sister, Shobita, finished school last year, but she still lives with her parents and helps with the household. Kawser's younger sister is named Tanjila. She's not only in the same class as her brother, she is also his best friend.
What classes do you have today?
Bengali, English, and math.
Isn't the swimming competition today?
Yes.
You've been training. Stay calm. You'll do fine.
Sure he will. He's an overachiever.
It's my first time competing. I'm a little nervous.
Participation is voluntary. The school holds the competition twice a year, and lots of people come to watch. The whole village wants to be there. This year, Kawser has plucked up his courage. For the first time, he's going to be one of the swimmers.
Come on, Tanjila. We'll be late for school.
Okay.
There are 6 seasons in Bangladesh: spring, summer, monsoon, fall, late fall, and winter. Although this is monsoon, or the rainy season, there hasn't been a drop of rain for days. It's much drier than usual.
When it rains, the water comes up to here. Thankfully, the weather is good and the path is passable.
Normally, many paths are flooded in the rainy season. It would be impossible for Kawser and the other children from the village to go to a normal school. And that's why the Shijulai school is built on a boat.
See, I told you we'd be late. All the others are already here. Quick, get in the line before the school comes.
Every morning at 8:30, the floating school picks up Kawser and his friends. Girls and boys stand in separate lines, as is typical among strict Muslims.
The school comes right to our house. It travels from village to village, picking up all the students. Class doesn't start till everyone's on board.
The advantage of the floating school, no matter how high the water is, it can always reach the students. When all the paths are flooded, a boat is the only way to get around in Bangladesh. Most of the other schools have to close during monsoon season. Many children quit school then. In Patna district, the dropout rate is a whopping 50%, but not in the floating school. It stays open all year. With few exceptions, its students stay until graduation, something everyone is very proud of.
This school is the only way for many of us to realize our dreams. This way we can go to college.
In the Patna region, the rainy season lasts from mid-May to the beginning of October. Heavy rainfall causes the countless rivers to overflow their banks. Paths and streets become impassable. In this period, up to 80% of Bangladesh disappears underwater. For the people here, being able to swim is necessary for survival. That's one of the reasons Kawser School holds regular swimming competitions.
My class has 28 students. Girls on the left, boys on the right.
Normally, boys and girls are put in separate classrooms in Bangladesh. On the boat, they're allowed to study together.
Mrs. Anju is our teacher. She teaches Bengali, English, and math.
Today is a special day. The competition is this evening. Do you know what this is?
A solar lamp!
Yes, and?
You always have light!
Yes. Do you like it?
Yes!
Good. The participants in today's competition can win one.
More precisely, the winner gets the lamp.
Everyone wants to win the lamp. Me too, to make my family proud. We don't have electricity at home, but with that lamp, I could study at night, and my mom could do housework even when it's dark outside.
The school day begins with English class, and Kawser is one of the best students.
S-I-X-6 S-E-V-A-E-N 7.
English is a required subject, as English is an administrative language in Bangladesh. Anyone who wants to get a good job must know it.
E-I-Z-H-T E-I-G-H-T, 8.
Now we'll take a short break.
Our breaks are so cool. We're allowed to watch cartoons. I love it. It's something special for everyone in the class. Most of us don't have electricity or TV at home.
But where does the electricity come from?
There are solar cells on the roof that make electricity from the sun. Whenever the sun shines, the solar cells charge big batteries. That way, we can use the computer and even have light when it's dark outside.
Every boat has a teacher who uses fun to help the students learn to use the computer. What's normal for us is very special here. Especially in rural regions, no one has a computer at home. So the school boat serves as a kind of window onto the world for the children. The Shijulai Shvarneva Zangsta school's fleet of floating classrooms is thus considered modern and progressive. Funding for the total of 54 boats comes from donations from around the world. School is free for the students. Books, paper, and pencils are also provided.
But the best thing is that I get to see my friends every day at school. That means a lot to me. Many of them live far away from me, on the other side of the river. Like Nazmun, he's one of my best friends and sits next to me in school. If it weren't for school, I wouldn't be able to see him very often.
The next class is math. In Bangladesh, it's not only the alphabet that looks different than in Europe, the numbers are also written differently.
I like learning, and when I'm done with school, I'd like to go on studying and become a doctor. Luckily, you don't need math for that. I'm not very good at math.
Come here, Kawser. Do the problem out loud.
30 plus 4 is 34.
Write another problem. 10 plus 2 minus 11. What's that make? Right. 12 minus 11. What's that make?
0?
Sure. Try again.
2?
Sit down. Don't copy it down. The answer is 1.
There is a 2-hour break for lunch. The boat brings the students back to their village. That way, they can eat with their families at home.
Smells good.
How was your day?
Good.
We'll eat in a bit.
Okay.
Yes?
Yes.
And now?
I want to go swimming.
You want to go swimming? Then go, but be careful. Don't get into any fights, Kawser.
Yes.
Understood? Then go. Don't be late.
Kawser takes the competition very seriously. He practices every day with his friends.
We learn to swim as children. We have to. We live right by the water. The competition takes place twice a year. Everyone from the surrounding villages participates. That makes me want to get even better.
This is Kawser's first time participating in the competition. Still, he definitely wants to win and bring home the solar lamp. Kawser's mother, Kazuli, has prepared his favorite dish so that he'll be good and strong for the competition. Spinach with curry, rice, and chicken.
I'm really nervous. I've trained a lot and want to win. I'd be very sad if I lost. First prize would mean a lot to me and my family. We don't have electricity. Our day ends when the sun goes down. The lamp would let us do a lot at night, too.
One afternoon a week, Kawser and his friends have a class on environmental protection. The children sign up for it voluntarily, and then they take the class on a separate boat from the rest of the students, in a smaller group.
We always learn something new in environmental protection. Today, the teacher is telling us how to take advantage of climate change.
It rains much more than it used to. We have to live with that. But flooding has advantages too. For example, it's good for some plants. Do you know which plants flourish when it floods?
Yes.
Do you know where rice grows?
Yes.
Where?
In the fields.
Where?
In the fields.
Is there water there?
Yes.
And what grows in water?
Rice. There's internet access on the boat. We always get to watch new cartoons about the environment.
That Kawser school has internet access is a minor sensation. The internet is underdeveloped in Bangladesh, and the state controls everything. Of 122 countries on a list measuring freedom of internet access, Bangladesh is ranked 120th. Late in the afternoon, it's time. Lanes are set up in the river for the swimming competition. There are 4 heats, each with 5 participants. All the winners then compete against one another in the final race.
Lots of people have come for the competition today. It makes me really nervous.
Naturally, the inhabitants of the surrounding villages don't want to miss the show. Kawser's mother has also come to cheer her son on. Kawser is swimming in the last of the 4 groups. The first group gets in the river. Kawser is observing his competitors closely, and they look stronger than he thought.
I'm a little nervous. I could lose. The problem is, it's hard for me to swim with my head underwater.
The moment of truth has come. To win the cherished lamp, Kawser has to win 2 races. In order to make it to the final race, he has to win his own group first.
Now it's your turn. The first one across the finish line wins. The others are out. The winners will then compete for first prize.
Now I'm afraid, especially of embarrassing myself.
It's a close race that is only decided in the final yards. Kawser wins.
It was harder than I thought, since I can't swim very well with my head under the water. But I had to in order to beat the others and make my family proud.
Kawser, raise your hand. Riab. Wotun. Sorib. You won your races. Now you have to race each other. The first one to the finish wins. Everyone, stay in your own lane, okay? Go ahead.
A girl has also made it to the final race, and this, despite the fact that in line with Muslim custom, she has to swim in a long dress. Will Kawser manage to beat her and the others?
Go, Kawser! Faster!
Kawser has won. A picture of the winner.
I'm so proud. Are you okay?
Yes.
I'm so proud you won.
The second time was even harder. I only barely won. But it's important that I made my family proud. And I won.
And not only that, Kawser has won the coveted solar lamp. A light that can make the day a couple hours longer for him and his family. From this day on, when the sun goes down in Bangladesh, the light will go on in Kawser's hut.
আমাদের ছোট নদী চলে বাঁকে বাঁকে বৈশাখ মাসে তার হাঁটু জল থাকে পার হয়ে যায় গাড়ি পার হয় গরু দুই ধার উঁচু তার ঢালু তার পারি চিক চিক করে বালি কোথায় নাই কাদা এক ধারে কাশ বনে ফুলে ফুলে সাদা.
In Bangladesh, an exciting day comes to a close for Kawser. In Denmark, too, it's already evening, 7:30 p.m. in Aarhus, on the country's east coast. For Stella Sofia, however, things are just getting started. It's time to go to school, to the Osterskov Efterskole, one of the most unusual schools in the world. Everything at the school revolves around role-playing and dress-up. Each week, before going to school, Stella takes a short walk.
I have 2 dogs. My sister takes care of the other one. I only see them on the weekends since I go to a boarding school.
Stella spends the weekends at home with her family. Every Sunday evening, her father drives her back to school. And it's located in Hobro, in northern Denmark. It's about an hour's drive from Stella's house. In contrast to many other students, Stella can barely wait to get back to her very special school.
My school works like this. Every week there's a new motto. For example, Vikings. And then we dress up all week like Vikings. And classes are all about the motto too. It's really cool.
Do you know what this week's motto is?
No, we never find out until Monday. But I hope it's something historical or sci-fi.
Stella still has no idea what special challenge is in store for her this week.
Have everything?
Yes. Bye.
Take care, darling.
Roleplay means more than having fun playing dress-up. It's also a means of learning new things. It creates unity, just like living at the boarding school.
We all live here together. So we're much closer friends than students who go to a normal school.
In Denmark, all students go to school for 9 years. After that, they can either stay to get a standard diploma, or they can go to a so-called Efterskole, like Stella, a boarding school with a thematic focus, such as sailing, languages, or role-playing. Students get a diploma from the Efterskole too.
That poster is from the Flower Power Punk Motto Week. We put on a peace parade. These are all cool mementos of past weeks.
Officially, the students don't find out what the week's motto will be until Monday morning, but they usually get a few hints ahead of time. Posters have been hung up as clues, and it works. Stella has spotted a Titanic poster and is blown away.
I'm really excited. It's so cool. I can't wait for the costumes.
The role-playing school has classes and role-playing phases. During role-play phases, the students assume their roles, thus bringing the motto to life. The idea is for Stella and the other students to learn while having fun, and thus to be all the more excited for class. The role play will start tomorrow morning.
We have to go to bed at 11 o'clock. At night, there's always a teacher who sleeps at school or lives close by.
The next morning. Today, Stella and the others will be told the new motto.
On Monday, before the first class, we talk a lot about what the motto will be and which costumes we'd like to wear.
Most of the students have enough costumes. They order them from the internet or buy them in second-hand shops. But to make sure everyone can participate, the school has its own costume room. No one has to dress up, but the students do it anyway. The costumes really make the motto come to life.
I love dressing up. I don't know why. I always have. I always make sure my costume fits the time period. This week, it's around 1910. I've already got a shirt, but still need a matching skirt. I'll be wearing what would have been upper-class clothing. During the first class, we'll finally find out more about the motto. But the teachers never tell us everything right away.
Welcome aboard the RMS Titanic.
Indeed, this week's motto is the Titanic. The Titanic set off on its maiden voyage from England to America in 1912. At the time, it was the largest passenger ship in the world. It was said to be unsinkable. Now the students find out what roles they'll be playing.
Lady Miriam Carfax, a snobby passenger in first class. This'll be a challenge. I'm playing a lady who's totally stuck up.
But that won't be Stella's only challenge.
The teachers love to surprise us, usually with strange things that happen at the end of the week. Sometimes we see it coming.
I have to tell you something no one can know. It's top secret.
Okay.
The Titanic will have an accident at night, and the whole ship will sink.
I knew it!
But you'll have a special job. You'll be a kind of wild card in our role play. You're going to save your fellow students. Lots of them. Okay?
I'm a little nervous. And also a bit scared.
After 12 days at sea, the Titanic hit an iceberg. The supposedly unsinkable ship sank. In the role play, Stella is supposed to save the other students, but her German teacher hasn't told her yet how she'll do it. Now it's time for a role-playing phase. There are 3 a day. During every role-playing phase, the entire school is the Titanic. The lounge is the ship's sun deck, and various classrooms are passenger cabins. Not only the students play passengers in the Titanic, so do the teachers.
I think our teachers love playing dress-up. They have just as much fun as we do, especially our teacher Martin Hill. He loves costumes and making sure they're historically accurate. He always puts in a lot of effort.
It's time for the first class, physics. Starting today, physics class is dedicated to the Titanic theme for a week. More precisely, it's dedicated to lifeboats. The Titanic had them.
If you draw a boat from above, just like I have here, then you can write the dimensions next to it. This needs to be 20 centimeters. On this scale, a person would then need a space of 14 square millimeters.
The students are designing lifeboats, and they need to fulfill certain criteria. The boat has to be stable enough not to sink, and it has to have space for at least 8 people. Group work and independent learning are a major part of Stella's class.
Vitus is our physics teacher. In general, my teachers are easygoing and rather juvenile. That makes it so much easier to talk to them and confide things in them.
Many students have special needs, and everyone respects them. Teachers and fellow students.
Like I had stress, I was diagnosed with stress, so everything stressed me out. The teachers are aware of your problems and they take them in consideration, so I still have this card that if I get stressed, I can like show it to the teachers, and they'll be like, okay, sure, and I can just go.
Role-playing phase. The fun they have role-playing is supposed to help the students better remember what they learn.
I really like role-playing because it's fun. When we read something and it says that so-and-so did such and such in 1929, and such were the consequences, then it's not easy to remember. And most people think it's uninteresting. But when you realize, oh yeah, I played that role and did that, then it's easy to remember. That's why my grades have gotten better, including in physics. The other students also get better grades because they want to participate more. And they enjoy class more.
Studies show learning through role-play is meaningful. Research also confirms that it makes things easier to remember. Stella and the other students combine facts with a feeling or with a concrete situation from the role-play. The role-playing school was founded in 2006. The nearly 80 students are between 13 and 17 years old, and all age groups learn together here. Students can attend an Efterskole after primary school. It's a middle school and ends with a basic diploma. Stella and her fellow students are supposed to get their bearings, build their character, and set goals for themselves. If they want and are able, they can go to an elite high school afterwards. Almost everyone at the role-playing school does so. According to the rector, 90% do. Since the Danish state financially supports the role-playing school, the parents, depending on their income, pay only a little tuition or none at all.
Lunchtime!
Today's lunch is special. It's someone's birthday, and he requested burgers and fries.
Stella isn't feeling so well after lunch. And it's not because of the food.
My German teacher gave me a job to do. She said I have to save many students. But I don't know what I'm supposed to do, so I'm pretty nervous. Hopefully everything will go well.
But it's not time for that yet. Now, German class is starting. It's one of Stella's favorite subjects.
Good morning.
Iris is fantastic. Her class is great.
I'd like to read a detective story with you.
Today, the students are reading a historical text that fits in with their historical motto.
3, 2, 1, go.
The valuable painting. Dear art lovers, today I have something special for you.
Einen besonderen Leckerbissen nahmen an den mitunter spektakulären Versteigerungen.
My question, how much have you understood?
It's about an auction house?
Right, an auction house. Super.
Class is generally pretty relaxed. It doesn't matter how we sit or if we have shoes on. What matters is that we pay attention to the lesson.
That's for sure. They have fun, but they also get grades. Every summer, the students take the same exams in math, physics, and other subjects as in every other school in Denmark.
It's really hard not telling anyone about my job. I usually tell my friends everything. Sometimes I consider telling them, but then I decide not to. Tonight is the night, and I'm pretty anxious about what will happen.
Ship is sinking at 2:15.
It's 12 midnight. Only 2 more hours, and then the Titanic will sink.
There's no reason to panic. No reason to panic. Our ship has hit an iceberg. Everyone to the dining hall. Don't panic.
Ingen grund til panik.
There's no reason to panic. No reason to panic. Our ship has hit an iceberg. Everyone to the dining hall.
De damer og de herrer.
Come closer, distinguished passengers of the proud RMS Titanic.
The historic shipwreck is well underway. The goal? In the end, as many students as possible should be sitting in lifeboats. But there aren't enough boats for everyone.
We all have to put blindfolds on now. All except one person in each group who has to lead the others.
Stella still doesn't know when her special job is going to start. It could be any moment. But for the time being, the evacuation of the ship continues.
Here. That way. Have a good trip.
Darkness and scattered furniture simulate for Stella and the others a situation similar to that of the real Titanic passengers. Where's the exit?
Over the table! Climb over!
Okay.
The ship is sinking. That's why all the furniture is lying askew. And we have to make our way right through it to get to the lifeboats.
Now they have to work as a team, giving orders and carrying them out. But those won't be their only tasks.
There are various stations where we get individual parts for the lifeboat. In the end, we have to put the boat together ourselves in order to be saved. Here we have to put a puzzle together. And if we do it in the prescribed amount of time, then we get another part for our lifeboat. So far we've gotten a tarp, tape, and a rope. We'll have to be creative, but it'll work.
And Stella still has her own special job to do. She must save her fellow students.
I've been waiting for my job to finally start, and I wonder, is now the time, or now? I really want to know what's going to happen.
But now the students have to use what they learned in German class.
At the final station, we have to send a distress message in Morse code. And we have to translate it into German.
But there's not much time left.
Only 3 minutes left. Then it's over.
And then...
Task complete.
But the group hasn't even begun to assemble its lifeboat, and the ship is going to sink in a few seconds. Now Stella's big moment has come.
Lady Miriam Carfax, you have an important job. You have your own lifeboat and must choose other people to get in with you.
No, right now?
Stella is allowed to take students who haven't managed to build a boat. She'll be their savior. And of course, unlike with the real Titanic, no one here will actually drown.
Over there, the journalists.
Lady Carfax!
Me!
Lady Carfax!
The rescue is proceeding somewhat chaotically, but chaos is part of the concept here.
The role play is over. The role play is over.
I'm so full of adrenaline.
Just before 3 a.m., the spectacle is over. It no longer matters who was saved and who wasn't. Only one thing matters now, that everyone had fun.
That was so much fun. Initially I was tired and a little grumpy, but then it was great. This week was totally cool. My school doesn't feel like a school anymore. It's more like a home.